guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the DC Primal Age Series 2. That is right, my friends, a brand new wave of the incredibly fun line that basically gives us a what-if scenario. What if these DC comic superheroes were released in the 1980s in that Masters of the Universe 5.5-inch style? They're basically buffed out. They're kind of like barbarian warriors. They've got all these crazy, proportions, and they're designed very much like those classic action figures that hold a very special place in my heart. So I took a look at all of the DC Primal Age figures back when they were first released, and now a second series is beginning to hit shelves, which includes Superman, The Flash, Black Manta, Bizarro, Lex Luthor, and we even have a new beast in the form of Krypto, the Superdog, which is our big ride-on for Superman. This is such a fun-looking series of figures. I love the first series, so let's open these up and get a closer look at them. Alright, so we got our new Series 2 Primal Age figures outside of the packaging so we can take a closer look at them. Now, before we get into the details of these overall individual figures, we definitely have to address the elephant in the room, because the first series of Primal Age figures that were sold through Amazon had some serious quality control issues. After I did my initial reviews and they went on sale, a lot of people experienced some really bad breakage at the hips on the figures. There were also some brittle weapons and some people were having some issues with that, but the hips specifically were breaking really bad. Now, when the figures came out at Target stores after that, they were produced in a brand new factory, and that was supposedly resolved, and people did experience much better quality with the figures that were sold at Target. So, before we go any further, I want to show you guys how sturdy the figures appear on these. You can see I'm rotating these all the way around. I'm moving it. I don't have any issues. It doesn't feel like it's going to break. None of these guys broke out of the packaging, so the quality does seem really good. I do have a little bit of paint scratch going on here. Actually, it looks like just kind of like some excess plastic there. But aside from that, the quality itself of the joint seems totally fine. I mean, you can see the way I'm like stretching and bending this figure around, twisting it around. Look. Give us some serious stress tests going on here. I'm not having any issues. So it does appear the quality is much better on these. And we'll talk about that a little bit more too when we get over to Krypto, because I want to talk about that because there was definitely some brittle parts on like Ace the Bat Hound in Series 1 as well. So let's talk about the individual figure designs, because they're very unique and they're very strange, but I love that. Strange in the best ways. So Superman, of course, is featured in his prominent blue and red colors. You'll see his red trunks are actually the furry trunks there, furry loincloth like you would see in a Masters of the Universe or other barbarian type toy line there. He does have armor sculpted on in the form of his S shield. It's like a nice shiny gold. The same shiny gold can be seen on the belt. And then one of the really interesting design choices with Superman is that his left hand appears to be missing, and in its place, he's got this spiky golden mace for his left hand. It's really interesting design. His cape is all tattered and torn, got that very barbaric look to it, but it is permanently attached to the figure, but you can see it is made of a more pliable material. And the articulation on these guys is going to be the same across the board. You're just going to get the left and right movement with the head, up and down at the arms. The waist can turn left and right. And then you got those ball-like joints at the hips that I just showed you, the way that the legs move there. They're in those squat poses. They're overly muscular, exactly like a vintage He-Man figure or vintage Barbarian 5.5 figure would be. He's got one accessory in the form of a shield that looks like his S emblem on his chest. You can see it is molded with some scratches and everything, like he's had it in battle there. It's not the same shiny gold as the rest of them. It's kind of just a flat gold plastic. And it's not brittle. You can see that I don't have any issues with this look feeling like it's going to break. I can pop it right on and pop it right off and no problems there. So that is our Superman. And we will move on to the other Superman-related characters, because we got to bring in Bizarro here first. I really want to focus on him, because one of the things that's very neat, because he's Bizarro, you can see that his design is that he's opposite of Man's design. He also has the spiked mace, but instead of gold, it's silver. Opposite. Yeah, and it's also on his right hand instead of his left hand. Same with the shield. His shield, you can see, is the backwards S. It also has number 1 emblazoned on it, which is amazing. And he holds it on his right hand as opposed to Superman holding his on his left hand. So some really fun design choices there. His design is very similar. He does have the backwards S emblem there on his chest instead, and he's got like this purple and dark blue motif, which is very cool. Same with the S on his back there. It is backwards. I love this very kind of zombie look for his head there with the glowing red eyes. So, I don't know, it's a really fun design. I think it's great how it's totally backwards from Superman, exactly as you would expect from a character like Bizarro. And sticking to the Superman world here, we've also got Lex Luthor, who also appears to be rocking his own version of the spiked mace hand, but his is kryptonite green. So it's actually kind of a semi-translucent green plastic. The same can be seen for the piece of kryptonite there on his chest armor, which is very cool. I love this because it's very similar to the Lex Luthor armor that we saw, especially with like classic superpowers and stuff like that, but it does have a bit more of a barbarian look to it with like the spikes up here and the design of the loincloth piece. Overall, it's a great design for Lex. I love the kryptonite used for the spike mace and everything. I don't know, this guy, he's got a lot of kryptonite. I feel like he could pretty easily take out Superman there. But good design. I really like the Lex. I think he's one of my favorites in this lineup so far. Let's move on to some of the other non-Superman related characters like the Flash here. This is very cool looking. So again, he's got the same kind of thing going on where like his outfit is very similar to the Flash, but it's got the more barbarian look to it. You can see like the stitching worked into the chest. His little strap that's got the Flash emblem goes across the chest there as well. He also has it on his belt. He's got all these belt straps going around his thighs. He's got the boots and everything there. Like even details in the bottom of the boots, which is really very cool. I love the way that the Flash ear points, the lightning bolts, are basically like a little crown that he's wearing on his head. That is very neat as well. And he's also got himself a sword, which really fits the theme here. The sword is kind of molded in the same plastic as the Superman shield, but it's got a great lightning bolt look to it, which is very cool. And you can see he's actually got a nice tight grip on it there, which is something else that's improved over some of the other figures from the first series where they weren't gripping the weapons too tight. That definitely seems to be rectified here with these figures. And our last basic figure in this assortment is Black Manta. So now we can have him fighting against our Aquaman that we got in Series 1. This one might be my overall favorite just because I feel like the design really lends itself very well to this nice 5.5 styling. Look, he's got the oxygen tanks on his back. They're part of the sculpt, so they don't come off. Nice gold trim there, which is really great. I love the design of the helmet. How cool is that? It just looks fantastic. Now, the rest of the figure is just molded in solid black, so there's not a lot of extra painted details there, but it works really well. You can see he does have two blades that he can hold on to either hand. They're a little loose. He doesn't have too tight of a grip on them. I wish it was a little bit better, but it's not as loose as we've seen in the past with some of the other figures. But overall, great design and just a really fun looking figure. So the last thing we've got to talk about is Krypto the Super Dog, which is now a big giant wolf. So it's worth noting that we had Ace the Bat Hound in Series 1, and if we bring these both in here, you can see that they do share the same sculpt for the overall wolf design. So very similar to like Battle Cat and Panther in the vintage Masters of the Universe line, where they shared molds. It's the same with Krypto here. He does have a new cape accessory, so he's got like this kind of gold armor with the S shield on it, very similar to Superman's, with the cape on there. And you can see that the cape is molded in a way that it works like a seat for Superman. So we can actually put Superman on his back. We got to find the right position here to get him. There we go. Look at that. So now Superman can ride on Krypto's back, which is a lot of fun. So I mentioned earlier the armor on some of the previous beasts like Ace the Bat Hound was made of a much more brittle plastic, and a lot of people had breakage with those too. So Krypto here has a much more pliable plastic. You can see it's bendy, so you're not gonna have to worry about this one snapping and breaking. So this is made much better this time around than what we got with Series 1. So it really does seem like Funko addressed all of the quality issues that people were experiencing with the initial orders from Series 1. And that's great, because I think this line is a lot of fun. I mean, I know I'm a bit partial because I'm such a huge fan of Masters of the Universe and similar style action figures, so I love that that Funko's doing this line of just like all these what if characters done in that. It was a very popular style in the 80s, you know? And it's really cool to see what it would be like if these other franchises attempted that style. I love this line. I think it's a lot of fun. And I do think that they're a lot better made this time around. So I definitely have to commend Funko for addressing the issues with those. With all that being said, I do have to give a very special thanks to Funko because they did provide these for review. So putting that out there. However, I do love these. You know, even if I was buying these on my own, I would have the same feeling because this is totally my style of toy. I understand it's not going to be for everyone, but if you're like me and you love the weird stuff like this or you love this vintage style, I definitely think you'll enjoy these figures, especially if you've already picked up Series 1. You can pair these up with the Series 1 characters and really round out your DC universe in this crazy barbarian style. So these guys should be showing up at Target stores just like Series 1 did. So happy hunting, my friends. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, leave me a comment to let me know what you think, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, my friends.